Hello, everybody. How are you? Oh, look at the smiley faces. You can see that we are glowing from ear to ear because we are right off the back.
Woohoo!
Amber Day. Oh, I'm so excited. So we're going to have a conversation about that towards the end. Hi, Ali. Hi, Rose.
Hey,
Hi,
how are
gorgeous
you?
Ali. We're so excited. Now, today, welcome to the Healing Through Love show. We're here to increase awareness within the community about providing family and domestic violence survivors with a soft place to land and to offer advice on services available to these survivors and their families.
And as well as the Healing Through Love show, we hold annual Pamper Day events for survivors in South Australia, and next year will be in Tasmania, where local businesses pay it forward to give our survivors a much-deserved day of joy.
And as well, every week on this show, we interview experts and survivors who share their own personal stories, as well as some advice with those who've experienced abuse, no matter where you are on your recovery journey yourself. So we're going to come back a little bit later, I believe, Charlene. We're going to tell you all about the weekend.
Yeah, we're so excited.
Handing it over to you now.
Bursting at the seams. And I've got a very special guest with us today. So our guest is Nahlana Kreshnan, and she's a life coach and a somatic psychotherapist who works with clients all over the world. She believes that we were born innately good and joyful, but are scared of all of the vagrancies of life. And she's really going to talk us through the process of somatic healing and explain how that works and how we can use that here to move ourselves forward in this space. So hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well. Thank you, Charlene.
Excellent. It'd be great if you could explain to our listeners, what is somatic healing?
Well, somatic healing is actually from somatic experiencing. Somatic experiencing was developed by Peter Levine, and it's a therapy that involves your nervous system. So what happens when we go through stress or trauma? You know, when you read about somatic experiencing, it keeps talking about trauma, but I realized that somatic experiencing can be used for anything, for pain. If you've had an accident and you're not healing very well, you find that even though all your x-rays show everything is fine and you're still suffering pain, it could be that you stored something inside. So basically, somatic experiencing is a modality that we used based on your body. Because they always say the body, that's a saying, right? The body expresses, I lose it right now, what the mind suppresses. The body expresses what the mind suppresses. So when you've stored it, the body's going to come up and say, oh, hello, here's a pain here. This is from somewhere. You won't know where it's from, but there's a pain in my neck or in my tummy or somewhere. And it's usually from things that you've suppressed or repressed.
Fantastic. So what could we do on a daily basis to express and release these energies that happen to us on a daily basis? They could be people cutting us off on the road, or all these sorts of fabulous things that happen. Someone burns the dinner, someone leaves the gate open and the dog runs away. Like all of these things that happen for us on a daily basis. What could we do to daily release these energies so they're not stored in the body?
That's a very good question, because sometimes I ask people, right, what do you do to release your stress? And they'll always say, well, I go home, I play with the dog, and I play tennis, and I exercise. I said, no, what do you do at that very moment when you have something that's bothering you right there? So what you can do is, the first thing is take your attention to your feet. Now, a lot of people say, oh, this is grounding, isn't it? Yes. But I also realize something so simple. You know, I'm doing it as I'm saying it, just taking your attention to your feet and then observing what happens to the rest of the body. So if you're new to this, of course, people say, well, I'm feeling a little bit nervous here and a little bit nervous there. But taking your attention to your feet is one thing. Of course, when you're driving, if you're driving and someone cut you off, I think when you do, if you're on the road and you're doing something, and you can actually, I think, if you're driving, just take your attention to your feet. The other thing you can do while you're driving is, oh, lady with the green top. Ah, yellow light. Actually say that silently. Amber light, it's red. If you're at the red lights, I'm here. Press your hands on the steering wheel. This is a steering wheel. It's warm, it's hard. So this brings you back to the present. Because when we're mad, we're all over the place, or when we're upset or whatever emotion that's uncomfortable, just bring yourself back to the present.
I love
If
it.
you're not driving, let's say your boss is screaming at you, you'd really like to throw your coffee cup at him. You can feel your feet. And then this is called orienting. You could just look around and look. Orienting to goodness is looking around to something that's nice. So if you're in a room that has got nothing to look at, actually you'd be surprised. Sometimes a room that has nothing, people find really strange things. They say, oh, I see a dot on the wall and it looks like a heart shape. Or you can resource, you can think of something nice. So if you, let's say you think of your pet, and you can't look around, you can't make it obvious you're looking around. You have to sit there and you're really seething. You can take yourself to somewhere and think of something pleasant. And when you think of something pleasant, you just go there in the body. I think of my cat and I feel so good if you're thinking that, oh my cat, so cute. And you find yourself softening.
I love it. So it's about having that pattern interrupt so that you can become very present and become grounded, as you say, and be very present. I love that. That's fantastic. So what can we do? Can we do anything else on a daily basis to get these frequencies, these energies out so that we are, and it's something that we can maybe do while it's happening, but also something that we can do as part of a ritual at the beginning or the end of the day, just to clear the energy frequencies that are left behind.
Yes. On YouTube, I have a channel under my name, Nahlana, actually under Somatic Asia. But one of the exercises I teach is you take your right hand, put it under your left armpit, and then the left hand holds the upper arm. That's it. And your feet on the ground, and just allow the body to settle. This is something Peter Levine showed us as well. And he says this is from a modality called Jinshin Jutsu, which is a meridian points and energy points therapy. The other thing is, of course, orienting, which is just looking around the room, looking for anything that looks nice. Like where I'm sitting, I see the green, the sun shining on the plants and the trees, and I feel comforted. And then the other things you can do is something so simple as a slow motion wow. Wow, exactly. Slow motion. Wow. What this does is, when we're uptight, we're sometimes gritting and holding tension here. And this releases the tension around your jaws. You can do woos, woo, and then you rest. Woo, rest. You can do 3 times or more, and the vibration of the woo gets your body into some kind of balance. Yeah. I actually taught someone this the other day, and I said, and she said, well, I can't do that loudly. I'm surrounded by people in the office. So I said, do a silent move. Imagine you're doing a silent, that's it. And she went, wow, I didn't know that worked.
That's fantastic. Okay, so you've shared with us how we can, when something happens, how we can release that, and you've shared with us some fabulous tips how we can embed them into our daily rituals so that we can release those frequencies. How would someone know that they need somatic healing? Like, what sort of things are going wrong for a person when they need to come and see a somatic healer?
So the thing is that, I was trained in counseling, talk therapy, and I personally went through many therapies myself. I think every therapy is good in its own way. For me, when I did somatic experiencing, my life just took off. And I thought, where was it when I was 20 years ago when I was falling apart? But there's a saying, right? There's a little book I know called My Timing is Always Right, which means the universe knows what you need when you need. So talk therapy keeps you in your head, whereas somatic experiencing gets you into the body. So if you've had a challenging moment or trauma's not in the event. I fell off the bicycle. My boyfriend hit me. I had a really bad tooth extraction. My anesthetic didn't wear off or wore off. It's not in the event. It's what happened to the body during the event. And the body would have stored it. So this is the difference between talk therapy and somatic work. Somatic experiencing gets into the body and helps to release what was stored during that moment.
Okay, so if they've got a challenge, whether it be physical or mental, and they haven't been able to move through it, then there's a really good chance that talking therapy might not get to the core of it, but they can use some somatic healing to either identify what the problem is or not, or just move the frequency so it's not stuck in the body. Is that it? Is that accurate?
So when we're challenged, the normal tendency is one or the other or all. You may go into flight, which means you leave, you walk away, run. You may go into fight, which means you argue or you fight back physically. And freeze, which is shut down. You're there, but you're not there. You dissociate and you leave. So in somatic experiencing, in a session with SE, as we call it, you don't need to tell us the story. This is the other thing, right? A lot of people say, I don't want to wash my dirty laundry in therapy. I don't want to tell people what happened, or I'm ashamed or embarrassed or whatever. And we tell people it's okay if you don't want to talk about it, right? Just as you're sitting here and you're just even thinking about it, what's happening to your body? And that's where it all is. And they'd say, oh, I have like funny, I feel queasy, or my throat's tight, or my chest is heavy. And that's when our session begins. That's when we start, because then we direct you into going into where there is stuckness or heaviness or any kind of sensation. It's very sensation based.
So, wow, I understand, reading your bio, that you do a lot of work with people that are in the DV and family violence space, which is very close to our heart here at Healing Through Love. Are you open to sharing the reason why you've chosen to work in this area, which at times can be very challenging?
It's challenging, and a lot of people are ashamed to talk about it. And even in my society, it's not discussed. And I've rarely ever mentioned, but I feel it's important that I do, so that anyone watching knows that there is a way out. You know, I grew up with family violence. And there is something I really must say, which is there's a saying, hurt people hurt people. And I couldn't understand for many years why one of my parents was so violent. Of course, years later, when I was in my 40s, and I looked at the library and I saw all these books on self-help. And in those days, they didn't know about therapy. I realized that this parent of mine was trying very hard to understand what was going on in himself. So I understand family violence. I've seen it, I've experienced it. For the person experiencing it, it's if you're a child, you have no idea what's going on. This is someone who loves you. Why are they hurting you? But if you're an adult going through it, you're also wondering, this person loves me. Why is he or she hurting me? And I have to say, having gone through a lot of therapy myself, if you're an adult and you're still in a bad state, a lot of it comes from low self-worth. There was a time I could have put up with it. For example, I've had boyfriends who were emotionally, can I say violent? Perhaps, right? Because domestic violence isn't just about beating. It's about the silent treatment. It's about not talking to you. It's about a certain look. And I put up with that. It's about affairs, unending affairs. And I put up with that because I didn't have self-worth then. Now I have self-worth. And I just look at this person and say, don't come anywhere near me. So for women or any adult in that state, it's okay if you know or you don't know that you have low self-esteem. Because low self-esteem and low self-worth comes from stuff you grew up with. It's never too late to heal, and it's never too late to get help.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. And that explains why you are so diligent about working in this area in domestic and family violence. I love it. So you've explained the somatic healing and how that works, and thank you for sharing your beautiful story. What does it look like when someone comes to work with you? Like, how does someone choose to come and contact you? How do we work with you? You're not local, so do you work online? Is it done via Zoom? Can you maybe explain what it will be like for our listeners who might be interested in working with you?
Yes. So I have clients all over the world. Different time zones, we work that out with each other. I also have, because we're also in lockdown in Kuala Lumpur, sometimes I have clients who really cannot do online work. And they either come to me with all the standard operating procedures in line, or I go to their home. And if it's online, then it's like you and me have this discussion. People find me through many means. Some will just Google somatic experiencing, and they'd say, wow, we couldn't find anyone in Malaysia. Or I have people in the US or Middle East, and they typed in somatic. I'm in Psychology Today, and I have a website and Facebook and Instagram. So when someone connects with me, the first thing I do is thank them for reaching out, because it takes courage to reach out. If you're already in therapy, that's one thing. If you've never had therapy, and people who come to me are people who have already sometimes have done talk therapy, and then they say, it's not working for me. I need to go the different way. So we always have a chat first. We connect through email, and then they send me. I say, okay, would you like to have a phone chat, Zoom or Skype? And so we have a phone call, a discovery call, as you may call it. They get to hear my voice. I get to hear theirs. They can ask me questions and they tell me a little bit about the issue. And then I tell them how I work, what my fees are. And then I send them a consent form and all the other documents.
Excellent. Excellent. Now, I understand that you have opened your doors today for our listeners and are offering a free discovery call.
Yes.
And all they need to do is send you an email.
Yes.
So Rose and Ali, can I get you guys to pop that up either? Oh, there we go. It's rolling at the bottom of the screen. Thank you very much. These girls are on it. And also, Ali, can I get you to drop that in the chat as well? For those who are listening, that will be great. And they can reach out, follow that email address, and you can book a complimentary discovery call, discovery conversation, and find out if you're a good fit. Yes. Now, I also understand that you're offering our listeners a discount today as well. Is that right?
Yes.
And that both you're taking 20%. Sorry, I'm reading now. I'm reading this off. So 20% discount off the first 3 sessions. Excellent. So how long, I know how long is a piece of string, but how long does someone ordinarily need to work with someone if they're looking at somatic healing? Is this a long-term process or is this something that can be turned around very quickly?
It really depends on your body. I've had people who come to me with insomnia, and after the first session, they said, oh my God, I slept like a baby. Of course, they have other things going on as well, but if it was sleep they began with, people come to me with anxiety, and there's always other things going on under all of that. We recommend a few sessions, as many. The thing is, a lot of times people, it's about money. They'll say, oh, I can't afford lengthy sessions. So I always say, do what you can afford, and for as long as you can. So if you have the funds and you can go on for as long as you wish, then you go till a point where you think, yeah, I'm in a good place now. I don't need weekly sessions. I can come once a fortnight or once a month. Some people just come to me when they're in crisis. And we recommend to do more rather than wait for the crisis to take place, because then it's harder to work with your body.
Yes.
So I don't set a number of sessions. It really depends on the client. And again, how quickly you heal depends on you.
Exactly. I love it. So, wow, you've taught us so much today, what somatic healing is, and you've shared with us your beautiful story and some great tips and techniques of how we can ground ourselves and get in the moment. And I love this one.
Yes, very simple.
I have to work at getting it in the right armpit and the right hand.
It's like a self-hug as well. We're not, during COVID times, we're not allowed to hug each other. So sometimes this just feels like a nice self-hug.
I do. I love a self-hug. That's fantastic. And you've been very generous today and opening up the opportunity for people to have a free discovery call if you're a listener today. And that can be if you're watching us live or if you're watching the replay. Remember, as always, put #replay because we love to come back and have a conversation with you. And the promo, I will put the promo up before we, oh yes, excellent. So Rose is chatting to me and telling me what she's doing. She's going to pop the promo up. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story. And it's nice to know that you're a sister warrior as well, and that we are out there making a change for others and helping them facilitate their growth and healing. And thank you so much to the sisterhood. So thank you so much for joining us today. Can we give her
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, joining us back is Rose and Ali, because these girls are chomping at the bit. They are all levels of excited. They're going to pop back into the screen right now because we've just finished our weekend of pampering through love, haven't we, girls?
It was so good. Yes.
Oh, so now, Ali, we had 39, nearly 40 girls come through to have beautiful pamperings, and we had a total of, was it 12 or 15 exhibitors? Is that right? Giving the girls
15 exhibitors?
15 exhibitors, giving people a beautiful opportunity to receive healing, whether that be in the form of a chakra aligning, or it could have been a facial or makeover, their hair done. I saw so many tears, Ali. I remember one beautiful lady who just couldn't believe that the gift shop, so as soon as you walk in, there's a shop to choose any clothes, handbags, jewelry, anything you fancy. She just couldn't believe that people would give it to her for free, and she just cried. Another lady, I was watching her, she was having her hair done, and she'd been with us now, I think 3 hours she'd spent having this, that, and done. She'd had tea and coffee and beautiful cakes. And Karina pulled up the mirror behind so she could see the back of her head and the front of her head, and she just started crying. Just someone hasn't stopped and taken that sort of level of care of her before, and she got to see herself in a different light. And I'm crying now. It was just happening all day. It was such an emotional day from beginning to end. I've got to say, Rose, could you talk a little bit about the cakes? They were a little bit loved. I weighed myself this morning.
Yeah, I want to thank both of our sponsors, the Sweet Tooth Factory in Salisbury. Natasha Woollerman, she makes the most amazing cupcakes and cookies and things, and I heard they were an absolute hit. So I want to thank her so much for supplying those. She gifted those to us. So yeah, thank you so much. And I also want to thank 19 on Green for supplying the venue to us free of charge. We are so grateful that they came to our rescue. It was an amazing venue, and we can't thank them enough. So thank you to Michael, and and thank you, Natasha, for paying it forward to the ladies that we help through our Pamper Days.
And I'm going to add to that list, Ali, could you talk about our barista, who was the most popular person on the entire day? That woman didn't get a toilet break. They were lined up. Can you share with us the story about our barista?
Look, I'm a little bit biased. I'm not going to lie. She was my daughter-in-law. She still is my daughter-in-law. But yes, she was extremely popular. And I have to say, I mentioned what we were doing to her about a week and a half ago, and immediately she says, Mum, I have to be involved. So she sourced a machine, and she came, and she was very popular for the day. I actually saw some tears from ladies who I said to them, would you like a tea or coffee? And some said to me, I just don't have any change on me. And I said, no, it's all, this is a Pamper Day. This is just for you. Just go and help yourself, go and get a free coffee. And that was when I started to see tears, for the same reason, Charlene, is that people just could not believe that, or they were so surprised that we would pay it forward in this such a simple way as a coffee. But yes, Jessie Lee, she's an absolute pocket rocket.
That's what she says about you.
There you go.
It must be proximity is power, and it's rubbed off.
I also want to thank our exhibitors too for giving up their time and their resources for the day. Without them, these Pamper Days just would not be a success at all, obviously, but they just give of themselves, and they make our attendees just feel so welcome and so nurtured and so loved. And they make them want to survive. I mean, you don't just survive, but to thrive. So it's a testament to them to how they just come forward up every year to do this with us.
It is too, and I have to say, and I think what I saw was, many tears of gratitude from the exhibitors themselves, as well as the volunteers. We need to thank the beautiful volunteers who came along, gave of their time, signing people in, helping out with the clothing and all kinds, and wherever we needed them for the day. But, I think a lot of the ladies who came in and volunteered, both as volunteers and as exhibitors, they got just as much out of it as well. And there were tears of joy from them as well. So it was a lovely thing all round, wasn't it, Charlie?
We've got to have tissues at the desk, and we have to have tissue stations everywhere. The other thing that was suggested is that we have hug stations. So people that just, can't do anything else, they can at least have hugs, because there was lots of hugging happening.
Yes.
And on every level, people were saying thank you for us for coordinating it. And we were just saying thank you straight back, because none of this is possible without every aspect of what happens from the behind the scenes, Rose, everything that you do from an administration point of view. I don't even know how you get it all done. Ali, every single thing that you do from your area. Together, this is a conglomerate, a sisterhood of women who've been through the tough times, and we now are living the life, and now we want to pay it forward and make a difference for others. And this gives us a serotonin hit and an endorphin hit as well, so it makes us feel good. And we have to live on this for a little while, because it's a long time between drinks. And if I could say one thing that we'd really like to do, and that would be that have these more often. And so in order for us to do that, we need sponsors. So we're actively looking for sponsors so that we can do these more regularly in different suburbs and support the local girls there and support the local businesses who are in a position to pay it forward. Guys, thank you for watching us today, Healing Through Love. We'll be back again next Tuesday lunchtime for another show. And yep, just, hey, if you're not already part of the group, part of the inner circle, make sure that you jump in so that we can send you regular emails. We've got lots of fun and exciting things happening in this space. Thank you very much, ladies. Woohoo!
See you later.